floor is yours. Yes, now we are seeing your screen.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see everything now in full screen. I'm so sorry that I was delayed. I'm at the moment talking from Japan, to be more precise, from Kyoto, where I just arrived, and it took quite 24 hours to get here. So thanks for the other keynote speakers to step in, and I hope I can make up for it with the following talk. It's about healing the unhealable wound, which is actually something that is, well, it's an oxymoron, right? Unhealable wounds shouldn't be healed or can't be healed. And I will tell you a bit about what we do, what I do in my daily life, and how maybe what we're doing is transforming a bit the German healthcare market from a treating market to a healing market. Well, and when you talk about those wounds, we need first to look at the problem. Chronic wounds are, you all know, wounds that don't heal anymore. Mostly old people have this morbid people do have that. Many diabetics, bed sores. Imagine a wound doesn't close anymore. Imagine it stays open flesh for, if it goes bad, the rest of your life. In Germany, there are several million people suffering from these wounds. This is a very, very, very expensive situation also for the whole healthcare system. There are 6 billion euros spent per year just for treating those wounds, and just in Germany, which is actually, it's a shame, because those wounds should be closed instead of treated. The second problem we focus on as a company are multi-resistant bacteria and wound infections. Multi-resistancy is something that's well, pretty common under bacteria. They do mutate, and since antibiotics kind of select bacteria towards the mutants that are resistant to this antibiotic, it's actually not very surprising that they're there. So modern medicine searched for ways that well, that solve the problem locally, not in a matter of a systemic treatment, and to have something that actually kills all bacteria, gram-positive and gram-negative ones, including all multi-resistancy states. Well, the good part of the story is there is a solution. And you might know this solution from Star Trek, actually. You know these dermal regenerators, these little handheld devices. And if you cut yourself and you go over it with this blue glowing light, then the wound closes. What has been science fiction has become actually science reality. The solution is named cold plasma. It actually sounds like Star Trek. Cold plasma is an ionized gas. It's usually sourcing hot, like sun's surface consists of plasma, lightnings consist of plasma. And if you manage to ignite this state of matter cold, it actually gets bioactive. So there are several components, I'm not going into details, built there that basically affect cells and bacteria. Cells are put under a certain condition that leads them to secreting messengers, growth hormones, cytokines, and they lead to cell growth, building of new blood vessels. The immune system comes in the area, secretes histamine. The cells start moving towards the wound, and there is oxygen raise in deeper tissues because of this secretion of those messengers. The second thing what we do is we kill bacteria. We kill them in a very, very, very high reduction rate. I'll show you later. And both is done at the same time. And this leads to astonishing results with when treating formerly untreatable wounds. Everything I told you sounds like science fiction, but everything is understood nowadays. Like all the mechanisms, we know what pathways we trigger. There's a plethora of publications written in the new field of medicine. It's called plasma medicine. The problem for this medicine, or this huge new area in medicine, always was how to apply this cold plasma, because there were handheld devices, but they didn't do the trick. We came up with a solution to apply this plasma, large scale, fully automatic. You see in the upper right corner, our product, it looks like an iMac. It just has a home button. That's it. You press the button, 2 minutes, fully automatic treatment, and then you remove the wound dressing. And the wound dressing is basically where the magic happens. The wound dressing is able to ignite this cold plasma right above the wound and actually use the air surrounding or that we capture with the patch to build this cold plasma. So both together is called our CPT cube and our CPT patch system. We are actually on the market. This has is certified with a CE according ISO 13485, and it's a Class 2B medical device that's only used by professionals. And I'll show you in a second why that's the case. These are our products. As you can see, there are thin foils with printed electronics on it. And today I received notice that we actually won the Bavarian, which is in part of Germany, Innovation Award with our production partner together, which is very nice because like for the whole system, we received the German Innovation Award in 2000, I think 18 or 19 back then. So the whole system is very, very easy to apply. It's fully automatic. It's just placing the wound dressing, pressing a button, and then everything goes fully automatic. If you talk about wound healing, you always have to talk about costs and also health economics and cost benefits, because nowadays in our healthcare systems, it's not enough to heal patients. It has to be cheaper, or you have to find someone who pays for it. And here is an example of what these patients cost. This is an ulcus crurus, which is basically an open leg. And we did this with a health insurance together. They have 600,000 insured people with 1,560 cases. And what you can see here in the first graph, that these patients cost money, of course. They're old, they're sick, probably, and they have a diagnosis of ulcus crurus. However, it's still closed. And in the graph below, you can see that if the wound opens, which means that they get prescribed wound dressings, which we can see by the health insurance, they cost around 8,000 euros more than before. So only the wound per year costs 8,000 euros. And now you can calculate how much the pain of this health insurance, and it's a very, very small one, it's 1,560 times 8,000 per year. And this is huge numbers. So what you do when you have a good technology and also a good solution, you can calculate cost benefits. And it's kind of sad that we have to talk about cost benefits when we close wounds, but still they have to be there. And this is what we do. We compared to the traditional wound care or modern wound care, which is roughly 10 to 7,000 euros, whatever you take as a wound dressing, and we're competing with 2,600 euros against this. And the special thing is we aim on wound closure, not on wound care, which is much more beneficial, of course, for the patient, because we restore them, and this is something our company does. Let me show you what we do with some examples, and I have to tell you there will be wounds visible. So if you can't see wounds, or if this if your stomach turns around, then you need to close your eyes or look somewhere else for the next, I think, 4 minutes of the talk. But now let's talk about bacteria. What you see here is a minimal inhibition test. You see a bacterial row, concentration row in the first row, which goes from 10 to the power of 2 to 10 to the power of 8. And in this case, it's an MRSA superbug. And what is shown are colony forming units. What we did was just like putting 10, 60, and 180 seconds our wound dressings on. As you can see, they're dying hugely. After 10 seconds, we reduce 10 to the power of 4 to 10 to the power of 5. After 60 seconds, we are already to like between 10 to the power of 6 to 10 to the power of 7. After 180 seconds, we have sterile plates, and this is a multi-resistant superbug. Just to give you a hint what that means, hand sanitizer, pure, is only reducing 10 to the power of 5, which shows how good we are with this technology. This is actually true for not only MRSA, this is true for all tested bacteria. As you can see here on the left side, on the y-axis, the colony forming units are shown. It's always 2-digit millions that we start with. And on the X side, you can see the time that was treated. And it always looks the same. We reduce them by huge amounts and reduce them up to 0 in the end. This actually also works with C. albicans. Now wounds are starting, but maybe it's interesting for you. So this is such an Ocus. This is how it looks. This is open since 1 year. This is under decontamination because it has a Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is a very nasty superbug because it has evasion. So it evades your decontamination strategies, which is bad. What this wound has is it's under decontamination since 1 year. And what you see here is the fluorescence picture of the wound. Bacteria are like you see a green light from where the bacteria are. Still, even if it's decontaminated. So this is the initial situation before using our patch, and this is after 1 treatment with a CPD patch. This is in log 8 reduction, which is huge. Let me show you some examples so you know what we're talking about. What we do, and this is one of our competence centers here, it's in Güstrow in Germany, in the northern part of Germany. And this patient is actually treated or was healed after being treated for 13 years there. What they do is always the same. They remove dressings, they do the wound cleaning, then they add 2-minute plasma patch, and then they remove the dressings. However, since we add the plasma, the wounds start to heal. And this is our new campaign. This is a normal chronic wound. This is what people live with. And we're saying 8 weeks are enough, because 8 weeks is basically the time when a doctor tells you, oh, this is not a normal wound, this is a chronic wound, and now it stays like this. And we're saying, well, if it's 8 weeks open, we have to do everything we can to close it and not just explain that it's there, what's done in the market actually. And this is what we do. This is a chronic wound. This is a diabetic foot ulcer. It's open since 5 years. It's MRSA infected, it's swollen, and This is the same foot after 3 treatments. It's fully closed. 3 treatments equals 1 week of treatment. This is an ulcus crurus. It's 7 years under treatment. This is the initial situation. And you can see on the bottom that there is actually scar tissue because the wound initially healed, but then stopped healing. And this is the same wound after 42 days, 10 treatments. You can see it looks like someone took the skin and just closed it with it. And now comes the interesting part. Do you see a difference between scar tissue from a body and plasma healed tissue? This is the wound I've shown you in the picture there. This is how it looked before. This is how it looks like every time after a physician cleaned the wound. This patient was 6.5 years under treatment. It was infected. She was in several hospitalizations. And this is the same wound after 12 weeks. This area looks so good that you hardly can see that there ever was a wound. 12 weeks versus 6.5 years. Let's go on. This now we go to and what I missed telling you, in the upper right you can always see one of our plasma competence centers and the name. So this one is an aesthetic surgery that became a competence center, and they're doing magic actually. So this is a chronic wound. This is located in the Biscard area. The Biscard area has a name because it's so hard to treat. It's an open bone, and there is skin graft already put on the wound, and it's rejected. So we have a transplant rejection here. And look how the wound looks after 6 treatments with cold plasma. This is not new skin. It's the same rejected skin. It looks like fresh, I don't know, chicken skin. The wound closes from the leg side and from the foot side until it's fully closed after 8 weeks and 13 treatments. Do you notice that the skin even looks like the rest of the skin? So this is really, really awesome what they did. This is a failed treatment with necrotic toes of a diabetic foot ulceration. They were put into hospital because the toes had to be amputated, which is like kind of bad because this is what people do when they have chronic wounds. They amputate the area where the chronic wound is. This is the initial situation, and this is the fully restored foot after 4 weeks. So we went from amputation ahead to fully restored and usable. And of course, it would be unfair to just have this wound, this infected wound, shown without showing you what we do. This is done at the ZBI. The ZBI is an organization that has people that are ventilated, so they don't move around anymore, and they're just lying in their beds, which makes it very interesting because like everything that happens to the wound happens because you do something with the wound. And this is the same wound after 5 treatments. This is 9 days versus 1 year open. There are some very, very slight openings left here and here. However, they closed afterwards. This is better than normal wound healing would be. So what we do as a company, we try to make this technology available. However, we're not selling our cubes because we want patients to be healed, not to focus as a company on a business case of selling our goods. So what we do is we fund plasma competence centers like all over Germany at the moment. These plasma competence centers have professional users, professional locations, and a holistic approach on a patient to make the success longer lasting. We work together with existing home care companies or care companies and so on that make it through our assessments, and then they get offered to be certified as a competence center. Our best centers have a healing rate of 70% of non-treatable wounds. Like 10% would be awesome. 70% is huge. Nowadays, we have 35 centers all over Germany. We are planning to have next year around 100 all over Germany. And this is where we came from as a company. So I have to quickly look if I have like a couple of minutes left. So this is where we came from. We had an idea, basically no one believed in. Everyone was telling us we were nuts trying this, and this is a market that is very, very hard to conquer and very, very extreme in views and so on. So we developed for 3 years our first series of the patches. Then we put everything in the trash and started again because the Series 0 was too expensive and made of silicone, which made it, well, also not for environment, very, very favorable. 2020, we received our Class 2B medical device licensing, got our first reimbursement and our first patient healed, which is very awesome and was an awesome feeling. Nowadays, we have industrialized CPT cubes and line production in our CPT patch series 1. So we're ready to basically conquer the world. We had 2022, our first plasma competence center, also the one in Güstrow. And nowadays, we're transforming the market. We have 35 competence centers. We have 70% healing rate. We have log 8 reduction of all relevant multi-resistant wound pathogens. And we are viewed as #1 plasma medical device with a large scale application. So from an idea no one believed in, we went to healing chronic wounds, which no one actually thought we would make it. So now we have like 4 minutes left for questions. Maybe there are some questions. If you want to know anything more about us, please scan our QR code so you can stay in contact with us. You got also my WhatsApp, so if there are questions afterwards, feel free to ask them.
Carsten, I'm absolutely stunned of what I've just told. And you have applauses from the audience about the solution you provided. Speaking frankly, once I saw the agenda, I told that healing the unhealing wounds is a metaphor for a problem and a solution in healthcare. I didn't believe that we will see this literally. So I'm absolutely stunned. And congratulations for all you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I hope I can inspire people to do the same, just rebel against the system and do something for people. And I think this is something we all should do to make the world a better place, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And here I have a question for you regarding your vision for development for the next 5 years. Are you planning to go out of Germany? Because there was a question regarding the availabilities of cold plasma tech patches outside Germany. But
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, we are one of the lucky companies that got selected by Amazon lately. So we are one of the 38 taking place at the AWS Expand program. You know that Amazon has a new healthcare strategy. I don't know anything yet about it, so we're just like lucky, and everyone is congratulating us. But so we might go to the US. Hopefully sooner than later. Also, like at the moment I'm in Japan, so it's a first world problem that many people suffer from, and there are like huge markets all over the world and people suffering from this condition, and we need to end the suffering. So yes, in the next 5 years we will start acting globally and not just locally in Germany. However, Germany is our beachhead market, so we need to first understand very well what to do in these healthcare markets to provide those patients, because it's not that easy, and every healthcare market is completely different. And usually these healthcare markets are not aiming on helping patients; they're aiming on doing good business cases, and so it's a task for and a challenge for every new market to conquer them. But we have great partners and one or the other idea. So I'm pretty much looking forward with lots of confidence and fun to the next 5 years.
Well, the solution is there, and it's a question of time to be accessible by more people.
Yes.
So once
Absolutely.
again, congratulations and good luck, and have a nice time in
you.
Japan.
Thank you
for being
Have a nice
here.
one. Greetings from Japan. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.